Thank you so much, Chris. That was amazing. Every year, NMPA collects revenue information from all music publishers regarding the previous calendar year, and that information forms the basis of our State of the Industry analysis. I am pleased to report that in 2021, the total industry revenue for songwriters and music publishers in the United States was just over $4.7 billion. That means that our industry experienced 15.31% growth year over year and represents 6 straight years of growth. That revenue is broken down by performance at 51%, synchronization at 25.8%, mechanical reproduction at 18.5%, and miscellaneous, comprising mostly lyrics and sheet music, at 4.7%. Importantly, as I mentioned earlier, these numbers are impacted by the artificially low payments from digital streaming companies due to their war against the CRB3 decision. One of the most important stories from this data is the fact that nearly 30% of the industry's revenue sources came from places that originally claimed they did not have to license or pay songwriters. It's an astounding statistic that nearly 1/3 of our total revenue is now from new sources that we had to fight and win to be compensated for their use of our songs. Those fights are what led to NMPA recovering nearly $90 million this last fiscal year that has been distributed to the industry, and that means that the NMPA has once again returned significantly more back to our membership than we charge in dues, as we have done in every year since collecting dues. This fiscal year to the tune of nearly 700%. Adding that to the running total of NMPA recoveries, I am so proud to say that we have now exceeded $1.1 billion of legal recoveries. For our members and their songwriter partners. Just some of the partnerships that we've been able to develop include TikTok, YouTube, Twitch, Roblox, and Triller. Now, let's take a look at what would happen if you adjust for just 2 factors. First, assume that digital streaming services paid us in 2021 at the level they should have paid us under the original CRB3 decision instead of the outdated 2017 rate structure. And second, assume that digital radio services like XM Sirius, Pandora, and iHeart paid us the same amount that they pay record labels and artists as they should. After all, in the rest of the world, radio models generally value the song the same as the recording of the song, thus the term neighboring rights. With just those 2 reasonable adjustments, our revenue would have been $1.2 billion higher. Now, we are fortunate to have our partners at the American PROs to help us correct this digital radio divide. Here in the audience today are the CEOs of all the PROs, Mike O'Neill, Beth Matthews, John Josephson, and Randy Grimmett. Over this last year, they have achieved record revenues during challenging times due to COVID, historically low overhead costs, and they will be our champions in fighting for fair digital radio rates, and they deserve our support and our thanks for that effort. Thank you. And added to that, just today, we were informed that the Radio Committee is preparing to sue ASCAP and BMI as early as the end of the day today to fight a new war against songwriters to try to pay them less. And we will support them every step of the way in that fight as well. Now, at last year's NMPA annual meeting, we announced a crackdown on the use of music in gaming, targeting specifically Roblox and Twitch. 3 months later, NMPA announced historic settlements with both. Today, we are announcing a new initiative that targets the use of unlicensed music by applications or apps that run on mobile devices such as phones, tablets, and watches. Earlier today, NMPA, on behalf of 7 representative publishers, filed a lawsuit in the federal court in the Northern District of California against an app known as Vinkle. Vinkle is a short-form video app that offers users thousands of templates that include unlicensed music. Now, unfortunately, Vinkle is just one of a pervasive problem. Also today, NMPA has sent cease and desist letters to nearly 100 apps that use music without proper licenses. Now, the responsibility of licensing music is not just limited to the app companies themselves. The app stores, which empower these apps, also have responsibilities to make sure that the apps that they make available to their customers are legal and not infringing. This is particularly important given that these app stores are also run by companies that offer music services, and they profit from making these apps available. So today, in addition to the lawsuit that was filed and the cease and desist letters that were sent to the apps themselves, NMPA has sent formal notices to both Apple and Google demanding accountability for this problem. In addition to these enforcement efforts, we are pleased to announce 2 strategic partnerships to assist with this new campaign against illegal apps. First, NMPA has entered into a strategic partnership with SongClip, a facilitator for licensing music for apps. The team from SongClip is here today, and I thank them for their support and their efforts to bring legal music to the app ecosystem. Second, NMPA has also entered into a strategic partnership with the ACT Association, which is a trade association representing the app developer community. Like with our gaming initiative a year ago, we expect to see quick results from this new initiative. There is a reason why NMPA has never lost a lawsuit and why our enforcement efforts have brought in more than $1 billion. If you are an app that is using music illegally, you can make the smart choice to resolve your transgressions and become a legitimate business partner, or you can shut down. There is no other choice. Our next announcement has been several years in the making, and the one that I am most excited about tonight. 3 years ago, this week, NMPA took the historic step of adding 2 songwriter seats to the NMPA Board of Directors. And for the last 3 years, Ross Golan and Liz Rose have done an outstanding job of bringing the songwriter perspective to all decisions made by NMPA. Music publishers recognize that there is complete common interest between them and the songwriters they represent, and that songwriters are our most effective advocates. Speaking of songwriter advocates, an early congratulations to the most important songwriter advocate on the planet, Mr. Paul Williams, who tomorrow will be presented with the Songwriter Hall of Fame. Their most prestigious award, the Johnny Mercer Award. Congratulations, Paul. Tonight we are announcing a new program to take the partnership between music publishers and songwriters to the next level. The NMPA Notes program stands for the National Organization to Empower Songwriters. The mission of the Notes program is to help bring together songwriters to advocate for better treatment of music creators. The organization will provide educational material and empower songwriters to engage directly with decision makers in Washington, D.C. and beyond. The purpose of the program is to create unity within the songwriting community in order to maximize efforts toward a fairer environment for all music creators. The music publishers on the NMPA board have agreed to help enlist the tens of thousands of songwriters with whom they work. And today, we are expanding that request to all music publishers. Joining us today are the heads of the leading songwriter advocacy organizations: Bart Herbison with NSAI, Michelle Lewis with SONA, Rick Knowles with MAC, Evan Bogard with the Songwriter and Composer Wing of the Recording Academy, Prophet with BMAC, Tiffany Red with the 100%ers, Ashley Irwin with SCL, and Graham Davies with the Ivers Academy. The first order of business of the Notes program is going to be to encourage songwriters to become active in the many outstanding songwriter advocacy groups that already exist. And thank you all for the hard work that you do. And while the NMPA Notes program will represent all songwriters, we intend to highlight a prestigious group of top songwriters. NMPA has certified 5,810 songwriters with gold and platinum designation is part of our partnership program with the RIAA. By definition, these songwriters are the most commercially successful songwriters in the industry. Their voices have a special significance in the fight for fair value of songs. And while we are on the subject of songwriters being recognized properly, a special thanks to Grammy head Harvey Mason, who is here with us, for announcing this past week the long overdue edition of a Songwriter of the Year Grammy. Thank you, Harvey. Thank you, Evan. Now, advocating for music publishers and these songwriters is a privilege that I get to share with a very special group of people. Before turning to the songwriter icon, allow me a moment to recognize an outstanding and amazing team at NMPA. This entire event was produced by our small staff, and every accomplishment that we've announced is due to the extremely hardworking and talented group that I'm lucky enough to work with. Please join me in thanking that team. And that team and I are also so fortunate to work with a board of directors that volunteers their time and talent to help the entire songwriting and music publishing industry. Please join me in thanking the NMPA board of directors, all here. And a special thanks to my board chairman, Erwin Robinson. He has served as chairman of the NMPA board for 48 years. And he celebrated two very important milestones just this week. ASCAP honored him with his 50 years of service on the ASCAP board. And last night, he was able to cut the ribbon on the new Songwriter Hall of Fame museum that opened in New York, which has been his life's passion for the last 20 or so years and is there due to him. Thank you, Erwin. That exhibit is now at CUNY, and I encourage all of you to go see it.